everybody. How are you doing? I missed last week. I missed all of you. I hope you guys missed me too, and I'm back. So I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend and you're ready to talk some soul space. So welcome to Soul Space. I am Georgia Rose. I am a psychic intuitive and an astrologer and also a healer. And I would love to spend this next, about 50 minutes or so with you in my beautiful soul space here for the Zencuda community. And of course, you can call into the show tonight. Whatever you want to talk about, this is your hour with me. So bring it on. If you're thinking that you need a couple of cards pulled, or you want to know something about your astrology, or you just want to talk to me about a question, bring it on through. So I have to tell you, I feel like the world is heating up and spinning up. I don't know how you guys all feel about it, but I feel like things are definitely accelerated. So I am just going to share the show. You know that's the drill here. I like to do that so that everybody can find me. I've got Joanne on here and Sarah. How are you guys doing? So I have a question I'm going to ask everybody as soon as a few more people come on. And we'll see how that goes. But let me see. Where is my share button on here? Lost my share button. So, here we go. So, want to talk tonight about a couple of things. I definitely want to catch us all up on the astrology because I feel like we definitely need to do that. I haven't talked about astrology in a few weeks and there's some things coming in. And I also want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world and just give you guys an energy update as well. So we'll do that. I'm just going to wait for a few more people to come on. I know I have some of you on here now. Share that to my page. That's great. There you go. And sharing it all over tonight. So welcome everybody. So astrology-wise, we've got some stuff going on, a lot of energy coming in. We've got a lot of planets still in retrograde, but I want you guys to know that they're all going to start to go forward next month, the beginning to middle of October. And that's going to bring a really big push of very different energy. But it also does not mean that we're not quite done with things crumbling the way they have been in the three-dimensional world. And that's what I want to talk about a little bit tonight. So Joanne says, people are very mean and nasty. I look at them and don't let it bother me. That is the best thing to do. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. I have to tell you that it is an energy right now where we are seeing a lot of kind of crankiness. And that has a little bit to do with Pluto. It also has to do with some squares that are happening, which I can go into a little deeper in a little bit. But first I want to talk about this beautiful cruise that I am doing on the Great South Bay for those of you who are local to me here in Long Island, New York. That is on September 22nd, and it is leaving Captree Boat Basin. We have a little graphic up about that. It's $45 a person, and we're going to see this sunset and the moon rise. I'll be doing some invocations of some messages that evening. We're going to do a meditation and a Reiki circle. It is absolutely in time for the Pisces full moon, which I will tell you more about in a little bit, why I decided to do it right now. So if you're so inclined, you can message me here through Facebook, or you can go on zencuda.com and reserve your space. I only have a few spaces left, so if you're thinking that you want to go, definitely get online and do that tonight. So why did I pick now to do a full moon cruise? Well, Pisces full moons, which are coming in next week on between the 21st and 22nd. Pisces full moon is all about connection. It's all about our spiritual connection. Usually during a Pisces full moon, our psychic ability is heightened, our intuition is heightened. And also, I know that a lot of the planets are going to start going forward between October 6th and 18th. So having at the end of September that full moon is the ignition point for all of those planets moving forward. So if you're in a place in your life where you're really trying to change your own energy or change the outcome of things, partaking in that full moon ritual and that full moon cruise that night is really going to help you jumpstart that energy as we set ourselves up for a higher vibration. So what's going on in the world now? Well, first question I'm going to ask everybody is, what are you doing? What are you doing? What is everybody doing? I mean, really doing. I'm not talking about, oh, I just walked the dog, or I just watched a TV show, or I just finished a project at work. I'm talking about, what are you doing? What is your purpose? What are you doing with your life? Because that's what these next few months are about. We're going to see a lot of energy crumble in the three-dimensional world, and the only way to survive that is to go into a higher consciousness, a higher plane, a higher vibration of existence. So how do we do that? Well, the first thing I'm going to do is tell you that the world collapse, the collapse of a lot of the structures we're used to, which I've been talking about for months now, is going to be accelerated between now and the beginning of 2022. A lot of things surrounding us are not going to be in play anymore. Anything that is not of the highest integrity, anything that is not of the highest honesty, transparency, or of the most pure agenda, a heart-based love, or really wanting to help humanity type agenda, is going to fall away. Many, many of those things are going to fall away. You're going to see them fall away sometimes in a violent way, in a not, just kind of dissolving, but they are going to be more of a revolutionary way. And that's really what's coming. The three-dimensional world, a lot of the very low energy is collapsing. So how do we insulate ourselves from that? How do we survive this time? Well, I know I sound like some kind of a Jesus freak or some kind of a crazy religious zealot, but it's really true. We can see it in our own eyes that things are just falling apart. Our own, here in the United States, our own government is a little wishy-washy. Our institutions, our school systems, even our infrastructures and our roadways and things are all at a pivot point of, are they going to survive or not? And for a lot of us, we're at that place in our life. So how do we survive? What do we do? What is the right way to go? We're at a fork in this road where a lot of things are crumbling and we want to build something new. So I thought a lot about this the last few weeks. And what I finally realized was, I know there's a lot of gurus out there and a lot of spiritual people, and they preach, oh, you have to go to love, and you have to go to compassion, and you have to go to those higher vibration and higher octaves. And that is absolutely true. We all know that. But yet we still have difficulty in the three-dimensional world where we live going to that higher vibe. So what's the answer? Well, what I came up with is, the answer is that we have to focus more and for longer periods of time on joy, on happiness, on peace. And how do we do that? Well, I'm glad you're all on Facebook right now and watching me, but I hope that you kind of censor your media so that the things you do watch are high vibe and putting you in a focus for a more sustained period of love and joy and peace and a higher vibration. If we use our media to do that, then we're on the right track. But what I can tell you is a lot of the media in play right now is designed to shorten our attention spans. And the more we shorten our attention span and we bop from one thing to another, we get in kind of like a place where we're not in a high vibe. We don't even know how to really put ourselves in that high vibe for any sustained period of time, because we're actually training our brain not to be focused. So I think one of the first steps in surviving this new world order that's coming through and these dissolution of a lot of our structures is we need to be able to focus ourselves for longer periods of time in the high vibe. And if we can do that, I think we'll be able then, like Sadhguru always says, go within. The things that we're looking for are not in the exterior world, they're within ourselves. And we don't have to go in a cave or a mountain to do that. We could be in our own backyard watching the birds or listening to, something in the sky, even a plane overhead or something, child's laughter in the next yard or at the beach and the waves. Just doing those things and focusing longer on the things that give us joy will actually bring us into a space where we can survive what some people are actually calling the kind of a little bit of an apocalypse, right? So I really thought about that, and I've been practicing more and more. One of the things that I've started doing just in the last few days is before I even get out of bed, I play a YouTube video, which is a shamanic journey. And it's drums and things, and that brings me to a place of peace in my life. And what I'm finding is the first time I did it, it was a little hard to, train the brain to really be in that rhythm. And now I enjoy it, and I look forward to it just in a few days. I've become, my meditations much deeper because I'm training my mind to focus for longer periods of time in that space where time and space really doesn't exist. The only thing that exists is our Creator and ourselves and the love between that and that connection. And that's where the Pisces full moon comes in, that beautiful connection with divinity. So I think that the cruise we're doing on the 22nd will really propel a lot of us forward in our lives to be in that more peaceful, more joyful place. And I think that for those of you who can't attend the cruise, just try to find some kind of a ritual or a spiritual devotion that you can do for more prolonged periods of time and focus your brain. It could even just be going out in your backyard and being in nature, or taking a walk every day, or laying on the floor and playing with your dog. Or it could be a formal meditation or music that you listen to. But it's really, 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 can't stress that word enough, important to do that now. Because the next few months coming in are going to be very harsh for a lot of us in the things that we're going to see going on in the third dimensional worlds. We really have to train ourselves to be more focused on what's important in our lives and what the meaning and purpose of ourselves is here. So when I ask a question, what are you doing? You really have an answer. You know, I've been writing a lot with the intention of publishing in order to help people on their own spiritual journey. I've been thinking a lot about where I want my life to be and my service in the world to be in the next 5 years, and coming up with those plans. That's what I've been doing. You know, I haven't been just kind of hanging out in space and watching CNN and thinking about who's friending and liking my stuff on Facebook. World out there wants you to do that. The world out there very much wants you to dumb down and not have an attention span and not focus on any of the real things that you should be focusing on. But here in the soul space, I really want to encourage you to go within, to spend some quiet time and find time, that you keep adding more and more time, and that you keep expanding to be in that beautiful space of connection. And that's how we're all going to survive this, believe it or not, is by focusing and training our minds to be more focused on those vibrations. Because when we do that and we become higher vibe, everything around us becomes higher vibe. People, the earth, everything. So it's really our responsibility to do that. So when we get caught up in the scrolling, you know, mindless scrolling, when we get caught up in the gossip, when we get caught up in the things at work, like, oh, the boss spoke to her, but she didn't speak to me. And we get caught up in all these crazy things that don't mean anything. When we do that, that's what we're worshiping. Because the things that we focus on are the things we worship. And we need to be worshiping more joy and love in our lives. And when we do that, you're going to be surprised if you can sustain that for longer periods of time and keep the influence of yourself in those things, and then influence others in those things. When you become that influential being in the world, you're going to be really surprised, because a lot of your own life starts falling into place because you've raised the vibration in it. So try it. Do a little experiment and just expand your thought process to be more in joy, more in peace every day. And if your life doesn't get better and certain problems that you've been working on for years don't suddenly dissolve, or you suddenly find an answer for, I will be extremely surprised. So don't worship the things that don't matter. Worship the things that do. So a little bit on the astrology. Mercury is in Libra right now, and Mercury in Libra is very fair and balanced. So our thought process, this is a time when you really can see the other person's side. It's a time when we have a little bit more compassion as far as judgment goes. Like, we may be judgy, but we are also evenly judgy with the other side as well. So it's a great time if we have something that's a conflict in our life that we want to resolve. It's a great time for lawsuits to be resolved. It's a great time for contracts and things to be resolved if you do it before Mercury goes retrograde. So Libra in Mercury is very fair and balanced. It's like the lawyer, the judge that sits on the bench. It wants to give everyone a fair shake. So if there's any situations in your life that you have been, really hesitating to work through because you're afraid that they won't go fairly for you, or if you won't be fair to the other person, now is a really good time to start executing those. Also, a lot of the social and political scenes that we are seeing played out before our eyes in the world now, they will become more accelerated because of certain squares with Eris and Pluto that have been going on all year. We're actually in the fourth of the fifth one. Next one will be in the beginning of next year, so we're not through this yet. But this is a stress activation of a lot of social and political, environmental things that are going on in the world. It definitely is a stress activator. And for us personally, anywhere we have a cardinal sign in our chart will be activated. That would be where you have Libra, Capricorn, Aries, or Cancer in your chart. Those are the angles that are going to be really activated between now and the end of the year. That being said, because Mercury is in Libra, and while Mercury is in Libra for a little bit while longer, it kind of makes things slow down a little bit in the sense of more fairness, like with what's going on in Afghanistan as an example. I'm not getting political. It's violent and it's volatile, but they're pretending or they're saying they're fair. So that's the kind of thing that's Mercury in Libra. It's because of Eris squaring Pluto, you're going to have the volatility, but because Mercury is in Libra, it's going to seem like it's fair, even though it may not be. And also that brings in a lot of illusion, delusion, misinformation coming in right around the time of this full moon in Pisces. Not because of the full moon in Pisces. That's all about connection and divinity, and Pisces is spiritual connection. Pisces is really fitting your puzzle pieces together. But because Neptune is in Pisces right now, that's what brings in some of the delusion. Some of the, if it's too good to be true, it probably is, because Neptune is boundless. And so that beautiful unlimited potential of Pisces when paired with Neptune can give us unbelievable blessings and unbounded and unbounded and boundaryless things. But it can also make us go into a fantasy of something that's not really real. So you really want to, during this period of time and up until the 21st, 22nd, you really want to make sure that you look very closely, because deception is in the air, misconception is in the air. Now, a lot of you will say, why would that be happening if Pisces is such a very divine connective sign? Well, the reason why misconception and deception, misinformation is given to us is so that we can develop our intuition. So if we never got any deception or misinformation, we wouldn't be very intuitive, would we? So everything would be true. So it's up to us to have the discernment to decipher that. And a lot of that's going to come to a head during this beautiful full moon in Pisces around between the 20th and 22nd. And that's really the astrology. The only other thing we have to watch out for is during that time, it's going to be very hard for us to know how to process information. So I'm hoping some of the Reiki that we do that evening will, really give us a little bit of clarity. All right. So we have that full moon coming in early next week, mid next week, and we're leading up to that now. It's very, very powerful full moon. This is like the beginning of the end right now. And then the ending will come next Tuesday, Wednesday, and on into a few days past. The reason why this is so powerful and why we're feeling the energy accelerate up until this point, this next 7-8 days, is because the equinox, the fall equinox, is exactly on the same day that we're doing this full moon cruise. The equinox comes in on the 22nd. The actual full moon is 21st. It's this huge swirling of energy. So when that happens, we're going to get a huge wave of high frequency energy. That always happens with the equinox, but with this moon and with some of the squares going on and some other, planets now getting ready to go station direct and go forward, it's a very big force field. So that is a time when we have an opportunity to really engage and make our frequency higher. So remember when I said the way to survive all this 3D volatility right now is to get ourselves into a prolonged and a more focused, higher vibration for longer periods of time. Peace, love, joy, compassion. The energy that's coming in with this equinox full moon is the push. It's like, we're on the launch pad and the burners are now lit come that, I would say next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So we're leading up to that. It's like we're getting ready on the launch pad. It's like if you've ever been to the Kennedy Space Center down in Florida, they have this big thing that brings the space rocket or the space shuttle onto the launch pad. And it takes a couple of weeks for it to actually get there. That's where we are right now. We're almost at the launch pad. So we want to make sure that we're ready, that we're clear on the deck, that we're focused on the things we're supposed to be focused about. And that's why I say, what are you doing? Because this full moon is the catapult. Once the full moon comes, there's a lot of planets that are going to start to go forward just as Mercury goes retrograde. Mercury goes retrograde 9/27, September 27th. And then in consecutive order, October 11th and 6th, Saturn and Pluto go to direct, and October 18th, Jupiter goes direct. So you've got a real forward push. October is going to be forward momentum like you haven't seen in a really long time. So that's the astrology. You can play this back a few times if you need to really kind of get that in order. But basically, we're revving up. They're revving the engines. The fuel is getting lit. And by this next full moon and afterwards for a few days and into October, it's lit. We're ready to launch. This is perfectly powerful. It is a time for us to change our narrative. It is a time for us to change what has always been our conditioning, our cycles of abuse, our cycles of conditioning, our cycles of trauma bonds. Very, very, very big time to get rid of all of that. It is a time to finally, especially with Chiron and Aries, time to finally cut the cords, put it in the box, put it away, learn the lesson, bring what forward you need to bring forward, and go on the launch pad and shoot yourself into outer space. Because the rest of this decade, the rest of these next 4 or 5 years are all about creation, and making your life what you want it to be, which is why I'm writing so heavily. Anything that is not in your awareness does not really exist for you, right? So that's why I wanted to talk tonight about life beyond the 5 senses. See how this all kind of goes together? So when we start to focus more readily on those higher vibrations of joy and peace and love, and we're starting to train our minds to really observe them, feel them, observe the sensation of them, and stay in them for more prolonged, focused periods of time, we're changing our vibration, we're changing our story, we're changing the way we've looked at things, we're changing our narrative, we're changing our lives, we're creating beautiful new lives. And when we do that, we're living beyond the 5 senses. Maybe for all the last few years of your life, you've only seen things through your taste, your smell, your eyes, your ears, your touch. And now you're starting to realize there's a lot more to the world. And you step beyond those 5 senses and you can feel things. You know things to be true just by the way your body picks something up, or your mind, or the way you feel it. That's living beyond the 5 senses. That is the natural evolution of humans as a species. That is why we feel so uncomfortable right now in the 3-dimensional world. Because for those of us who are practicing a more sustained and focused sensation and living in and breathing in a higher vibration of love, joy, and peace, we can't go back to the mindless scrolling, to the gossip, to the innate conversation, to the media that doesn't make sense to us anymore. So now we're looking to survive in a different way. And that's what living beyond the 5 senses is all about. So I'm going to go to some comments. Suzanne says she's feeling it. Launchpad describes how I'm feeling perfectly, says Sarah. I'm doing a house project. Will there be a possible problem if it goes into Mercury retrograde? I would just say no. The way that we control Mercury retrograde, Christina, is we do things twice. Like, my dad always used to have this expression, measure twice, cut once. So when Mercury is in retrograde, it doesn't mean that bad things are going to happen or that we shouldn't do certain things. It just means that we should partake and be much more careful of them. Because Mercury retrograde is a time we're impulsive. So as long as we're really, really careful, if you're picking things out, cabinetry or colors or furnishings, make sure they're really what you want. Don't be impulsive about it. If you have to sign a contract with a vendor or a contractor, read it twice. Ask the questions, and you'll be fine. But that's what Mercury retrograde is about. It's actually a gift from the universe so that we become more focused and more deliberate in our actions and stop making those silly mistakes that we always make. Going to scroll down a little bit. Hey, Suzanne, I know you're coming on the cruise. That's great. Nature is the best for letting us just go into that vibration. Alrighty, so if you have any other comments, please put them in. Yeah, I wasn't going to say it on air because sometimes I don't want to say things that will maybe bring people a little bit of melancholy. But I have to tell you, all the last couple of days, I've just been feeling like emotion well up in me, and like I just want to cry. And at first I was thinking, well, gee, maybe it's 9/11, being around the time of 9/11, but I don't think that's what it is. I think it's just we're undergoing a real change in the 3-dimensional world and in the 5D or even higher. I think that for a lot of us, we are accelerating and we are ascending. And what happens is there's a certain melancholy that comes with that sometimes, even though it's really joyful, because we have to let go of some things, you know. And that's the feeling that keeps welling up inside of me. I remember a few years ago when I had a experience in, you know, speaking to God and getting an answer that was very profound for me, that really showed me where my future was and where I was headed and what my life is going to be in the world. And it was so beautiful and so joyful that I know certain things that are going to happen to me, and I believe in them so much. But at the same time, when I received that guidance, I also was a little bit sullen and depressed for a few days, because I knew that I was going to be leaving behind a lot of things in my life that I loved, and that, you know, just, I wasn't supposed to be there. I needed, and it wasn't anything bad. It was just that I knew Spirit had a plan for me in my service to the world, and that some things weren't going to fit in the plan. And so I always tell it to people. I say, I've left a lot of things that I love, but, you know, you do it with grace, and you might be going through something like that, because I think that sometimes when those emotions well up, it's not always a bad thing. It's a transition, and we're meant to transmute things in our life. I was just told to pick a card for you, Suzanne, from my deck, and yeah, we're on track, because the card that just came out is number 15, Healing, and it says, love is the light that heals all. So just know that you have to let go of those things to continue your healing, all right? And I wasn't really even thinking to pick a card. They just told me to do that randomly. Hey, Monica, how are you? Very good. Yeah, Launchpad definitely describes it. So if anybody has any questions for me or wants to put anything in the comments, we will make this your time for the rest of the show. I'll pick a few cards and we'll do a few things. If you have any questions about the astrology or anything that that you just want to know about, we're here to help. The other comment I wanted to make, I wrote down, is and this just came to me today when I was meditating. Lack of attention causes the disconnection to the self. Lack of attention causes the disconnection to the self. What do I mean by that? We become so busy in our minds and so busy in the doing, in the scrolling, and the thinking, and the, all these things. And in that busyness, we become disconnected from ourselves. And part of raising our vibration and being more focused and spending time in more prolonged, higher vibrational activities, joy, peace, love, part of that is paying attention, right? Observing the sensations and paying attention where we need to is really, really important. So when we don't pay attention, or lack of attention, actually causes the disconnection in our lives. So really be more attentive. I just saw Suzanne commented, crazy how your soul fights it, regarding the emotions welling up. Try to think of it not as, because this helped me a lot, because I spent years thinking like I was in a battle of my ego and my soul, and it was rough. We all go through that, right? You see so many things online about battling, and you're in the battle of your ego and all this stuff. Don't battle your ego, integrate it. When we try to force our ego down, it just rears its ugly head again. The whole point of the emotions and the overwhelm is to integrate it. It's coming from somewhere. Feel the sensation, let it flow through you, and it's so much easier that way than when we put up a fight. So just know that. And the soul isn't fighting it, we fight it. The soul wants to integrate it, because the soul embraces everything about us. The soul finds beauty in repulsive things. So there's never a part of us that the soul will ever reject. There is nothing the soul will ever reject. It gets back to the old adage, I am that I am. And what the meaning of that is, we are all things. We are murderers, we are molesters, we are angels and do-gooders. We, at one time in one life, we've been all of it. I am that I am. And in realizing that about ourselves and embracing and accepting all of those things for a reason, sometimes even to hold a place of darkness so that we find light, all of those things are acceptable to us in some way, because they are a part of us, and we have to love even the darkest parts. So in doing that, we become compassionate even for the darkest people. and realize they also have some kind of a purpose. Very, very tough lessons, but we get them as we raise our consciousness. You're letting your house go, so there you go. And probably as much as that's a metaphor, it's literal, that soul is that house. So I'm so glad you're coming next week. We're going to have such a great time, and I think you'll get a much uplifted thing. So what I'm going to do now is, since you guys aren't calling in, everybody's shy tonight. If you guys could share the show, I'd love to get a few more people online. What I want to do right now is I'm going to pull a card from my Circle of Light deck, and this would be a card basically right now for the three-dimensional world. I'd love it if all of us could send love to the three-dimensional world and just pray for all the leaders of the world, all of the atrocities that are going on right now, that we could send the energy of triumph to anyone right now who really needs that from us and is in a place of detriment or pain and needs to feel our light. I send that out now. I breathe in the suffering and I send out joy, peace, and love. And I'm going to pull 2 cards for the three-dimensional world and the earth. And I pulled the card Freedom. Divine light is beneath the wind. Divine light is the wind beneath the wings. And let's just send some triumphant, beautiful energy of freedom out to anyone in the universe who needs it right now, whether they're on this planet, off planet, or anywhere in the world. I think one of the most suffering, one of the most horrible things to ever have to go through is some kind of an imprisonment of any kind, whether it's in our minds or hearts or physical body. So I'm going to send that beautiful freedom out to everyone in this beautiful picture of this bird in flight. And may anyone right now who is suffering with any form of imprisonment feel the freedom in the world from us. And then I'm going to pick another card here, again, for the third-dimensional world. And this is to give a card of hope. It's number 8, which is prosperity, abundance. And the card says the light on the horizon is infinite. So we send that beautiful prayer out to all the world right now who may be needing us, our light. Put them in a beautiful circle of light, all who are suffering right now, that they may find abundance and infinite light on the horizon. There is always light and never only darkness. And I send that out to all of you in my beautiful Zenkuda community as well, and anyone listening or watching our replay. You are now surrounded in a beautiful tube of light. So that's for the three-dimensional world. So I take from that the world really needs our love, and the world really needs our light and our prayers. So let's just, every day before your feet even hit the floor, getting out of bed, just send that out to everyone in the universe, and together we can heal the world. So, hey Joanne. So I am going to pull some cards, and I'm going to go in order. My first card is actually going to be for Joanna Maya tonight, and I'm going to pull a soul card for her. Joanne, I don't know if it's if your father has passed or male has passed. I'm getting a male who has passed around you, and I feel like it's getting close to either some kind of celebration or birthday. That was his birthday, or maybe an anniversary, but I feel like something is around you that way, Joanne. And this card just flew out of the deck, which is a beautiful card of, almost feel like the face, the portrait of this person is in grief, but there is light around their head and so much light around the heart. So if you're missing someone right now who is a male figure in your life that's passed over, know that they're coming through right now this evening to give you some comfort, hug, love. And I feel like this particular person has either a birthday or an anniversary or some special date that's either coming up or just passed around now. So just know that that person is with you. I don't know if you want to give me confirmation in the comments if you're still out there, if you have any input onto who you think this might be. But definitely a male. That just came in for me. That's a gift for you tonight. Do we have a caller, Bob? Okay. I thought maybe Joanne was calling in about that. Yes, he passed, but I didn't know him. Your father. I feel like maybe it was his birthday or some kind of anniversary. Is it your birthday coming up? going to look for her to comment. Somebody's birthday is coming up for you, around you, and it has something to do with this particular person, or he's coming in to wish you a happy birthday, but it's something to do with that. All right? Yes, okay, so that's what it is. So just know he's coming in, hugging, comforting, and also I feel apologetic. So you can take that with you. Yeah, so maybe it's his birthday or his anniversary, something to do with him, okay? All right, so my next card is going to be for Jennifer Macalusa. I think she just came on. So Jennifer, how are you doing? I hope you're having a good day. Telling me also to pick a Circle of Light card for you. These Circle of Light cards are my custom-made cards. I actually designed and wrote these cards. They come with a booklet. And I was really compelled to use them tonight. I feel like the world really needs more light. And I just love the colors in these cards. So Jennifer, this card, oh, we picked the Freedom card, and you guys saw me shuffle them. So Jennifer, this is the card for freedom. It's also number 21, if that means anything to you. So I feel like you're feeling good. I feel like you're on your way to feeling more and more freedom. I feel like you are actually releasing a lot of things that you have been struggling with. So definitely a good card for you. And I'm going to pick an angel card as well for you, Jennifer, because they're just telling me to do that. And then I'm going to move on to pick a card for Sarah. Creative writing, Archangel Gabriel. Now, if this doesn't resonate with creative writing for you, Jennifer, Archangel Gabriel is the angel of clear messages. And for some reason, I feel like deja vu, like we got this before. Archangel of clear messages and freedom. So if you are in the process of, kind of listening to your intuition, moving along with something, keep going, because I would say these two cards are telling you to definitely do that. All right? And now I'm going to pick one for my buddy Sarah. I love Sarah. She's got such good energy. Sarah, I'm also going to pick a Circle of Light card for you, but they're telling me to pick a soul card as well. So let's see what we got here for you. It's going to be this one. Sarah, intuition. And this is what we talk about a lot, you and I, when you call in. Flashes of light across the soul. You are definitely opening up. You've got your psychic, spidey senses coming all alive. So this is confirmation for you. It's number 17 in my deck. The card is intuition, and it's flashes of light across the sky, so across the soul. So listen to your messages, trust your intuition, because it's happening for you. I think you're really opening and becoming more and more in tune with that life beyond the five senses and those dimensions that we're talking about. So keep going with whatever you're doing. Do your meditations, do all your spiritual guidance type of things. And I'm going to pick a card now for Joanne. Okay. Joanne, I'm going to give you a Circle of Light card too. I don't know why these cards are hot tonight. They're just like feeling good. So I'm going to keep using them. This fell out. It's a number 9, completion. Whoa. As I said, these cards are hot tonight. The number 9, completion for you, Joanne, which means that you are at the end of a cycle. Something is going to really change. But I feel like in order for that to happen, you've also got to give it a little bit of push. So let's make sure that whatever is changing in your life brings you the right thing by, cooperating with the universe. If there's anything that you're worried about completing, know it's a cycle. Endings bring beginnings. So yeah, and I have Archangel Raphael here. Give your cares and worries to the angels and allow us to take your burdens. So, Joanne, you're completing a cycle. If there's anything you're really worried about moving away from, and you're worried about, oh, but I still need to take care of this, or this is where I need to be, I feel like you need to move away from it. And I feel like the number 9, the completion, and Archangel Raphael coming in to tell you to give that to you, really big deal. So move on, because there's a lot of things. And the energy right now is really, really, really good for that. Really, 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 really. All right, so. Oh, see, you started a new job today, Jennifer. Those are great cards for that then. Absolutely. So that was for Joanne. And now I'm going to pick one for Christine Pepe. They're telling me to go to soul cards. Actually, I picked an angel card for Joanne. That's what they told me to do. First, I thought it was a soul card. Christina, I'm going to pick a soul card for you. That's what I feel inclined to do. So you're getting a soul card, baby. Okay. going to be this soul card here. I just picked the same card that we got for Joanna Maya earlier, and this was the one that I felt when her father came through. And Christine, I have to say, I feel like, I don't know if there's a child or someone around you that you're a little bit concerned or worried about. Everything's going to be fine. I don't know why I'm getting something almost like a little bit of a challenge or disability, maybe a learning issue. I don't know if it's you or the person, another person near you. But I'm getting that this is something, don't be overly concerned. Everything works out really, really well. I have to pick another card for this because I'm really getting energy on this. This one came out. Okay. I just got a card for Archangel Uriel, and Uriel is the patron saint, patron angel for like learning, and like if you have to take a test or something, you reach out to Uriel. So I feel like this is not for you. Like this is it's for you, but not this part. Like it's your going on around you, but Uriel isn't coming in directly for you. I feel like there's a child or someone younger around you that is having an issue with school, learning, something like that, and Archangel Uriel is coming in now. You're really concerned about this, but I have to tell you, don't be overly concerned. It's just kind of almost like a growing pain. Like this is something that's just going to be fine. I hope I'm on track because it's coming in so clearly. Yeah, and this is teaching and learning here. Teaching and learning and clearing space. So what I'm going to say to you is, if there's an area this child needs to focus, there's too much chaos around them, they need like a certain area to focus, whether that's cleaning a corner of their room for a little desk or something. Because we've got teaching and learning, and this is Zadkiel, a lot of purple light around here, which is healing. And then I've got Archangel Uriel, which is the patron of learning, higher learning, absorbing information. So don't be overly concerned about this. It's definitely going to work out totally fine. All right. And next one is Monica. I'm going to pick a card for you. And Christine, if that resonates with you at all, put it in the comments because it came in. Oh, okay, it does. Because it came in so clearly. Yeah, this child is going to be okay. You're going to get them the help they need. And I definitely feel like you need to give them a space where it's not chaotic for them. Even if that's like, you know, a little cubby or a little play. They need to be in a focus zone. All right? Very funny, Brad. Okay, and I'm up to, after Christine, I'm going to do Monica. And then I think that might be it for tonight. Yeah. Okay. Let me pick one for Monica. Okay, Monica. Monica. My Monica. Monica's a shaman. She just doesn't know it yet. Okay. I hope you call that shaman, Monica, because I just feel that energy resonates with you. And if you want, I'll go with you. Wow, look at baby, you're on fire. Look at this card for you, Monica. You are all on fire. And I know you're coming on the boat cruise too. I can't wait to see you. It's going to be an amazing night. This is you opening. This is you. Look at how much fire is in the person on this card, and that's you. And they're also holding their hands up. They have something on their chest that looks very much like the emblem for the Holy Spirit. This is all about spirit, Holy Spirit, enlightenment, energized ascension. This is you really going, I mean, to other dimensions. And I'm going to just pick a circle of light card to qualify that, because that is so much light in that card. I'm going to hold it up so that you can see it. That is just so much light. That is like you on fire. It almost reminds me of Pentecostal Sunday, you know, when the upper room kind of energy. Okay. And you got number 8, abundance. The light on the horizon is infinite. That means to me you have unlimited potential as far as healing work and knowing. I mean, you are going to be just in the stars, babe. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay? 7-year-old granddaughter. Yeah, see, that's what it is. Give her a little space in the house. And then also, something that I found with children that have a hard time focusing and they're just rambunctious, diet is everything, first of all. Children should always be on an organic diet, no sugars, no nothing, that's not natural. But one of the things I found that's really helpful with a lot of people who have like autistic children or just children who are rambunctious, play really soothing music. You know, put on meditation music or Snatam Kaur or Duder or, you know, Stephen Halpern. Any of those artists that play a lot of really low-key spiritual music, children actually respond and love that. They're so overstimulated, they need to have that. You're welcome, Monica. I can't wait to see you. Oh, you did see Kim. Yeah, you're on fire, baby. You're on fire. So I have to go see Kim, too. Kim Chiano, for anyone who needs Reiki out there, I love Kim. So definitely, I just want to recap for everybody. If you can this week, spend time, focused time, quiet time, doing what comes naturally in raising your vibration, whatever that is for you. I'm going to put my cards away. Whatever that is for you, it could be riding your bicycle under a beautiful blue sky, taking a walk on Fire Island, you know, and don't tell me you don't have time, because you do, because we spend a lot of time doing things mindlessly. So the more time that we can spend raising our vibration in some focused activity that gives us joy, you know, playing with your grandchildren, playing with your dog. I'm going to go home this evening after the broadcast, and I'm going to eat a delicious meal and just kind of, you know, meditate a little bit. And I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to raise my vibration and put me in joy. That's what we need to do in this energy, because like I said, we are going to be getting launched off the launch pad like rockets soon to live the rest of our life in the next chapter. So thank you so much for spending time with me tonight. I just love sharing with you all. And if you like this show and it's done something good for you in your life, please share it and tell everybody about it. And hopefully I'll be doing some events and come to a town near you soon. So I'll see you all next Monday at 7 o'clock on Strong Island Television in the Soul Space. I'm Georgia Rose. You can find me on zencuda.com. If you want to join me for the boat cruise, there's still some seats left. I will put that in the comments. I will put up a little link for you guys if you want to come. So thanks so much. This is the energy I source my life from. So thank you for joining me in our soul space. Good night.